We've selected our theme, and now we're going to decorate our banister. We've created a few ornament clusters to see if they would work, and now we'll build from there. What we're going to do first is make an ornament cluster. You may have noticed I've hung two already. I wanted to get a feel for the length and where I wanted them to fall, but this is the way we will attach this beautiful cord. We have this gold twisted cord. I'm going to show you how to attach that to the balls, and then you can go ahead and hang those on the banister. So what we're going to do is go ahead and cut 3 pieces of cord. The first ball, you decide whichever color you'd like. You want to go ahead and make that one your longest. So I cut that piece, and you're going to tape up the ends so that in the process of working with them, that cord doesn't start to unravel. The second piece will be just a slight bit shorter than the first one because we want the balls to hang at different levels. Again, we cut the piece and we tape up the ends. This is all just preventative to keep it from unraveling. And the third one, do exactly the same thing. Take that one, make sure it's a little bit shorter than this one, a little shorter, and do the same thing. Now, keep in mind, I did put the cord up, eyeball them, and kind of get a feel for exactly where I wanted those ornament balls to hang on my banister. Okay, once that's taped up, we're ready to put them on the ornaments. So here's a trick. When you have ornaments that have large holes, obviously there's no problem. You can slide the cord in. But this one, for example, has a very tiny hole that even with the tape, it'll be quite difficult to get in there. We don't want our cord to unravel in any way. So what we're going to do is run a wire through it and secure it. Okay, now, in order to put the cord into the balls, the ornaments here, you'll notice that this one, for example, has a larger hole, so you'll have no problem running that cord through. But this one, for example, has a very tiny hole. So I'm going to give you a trick using some wire on how to put that cord and not have the cord unravel as you're forcing it through the hole. Okay, a simple trick is you take a small piece of wire and you go ahead and put that right into that ornament and twist it just like as if you were going to make it into an ornament hook. I'm just going to twist that around and secure it. Once that's on there, you take your cord, just put it right in the center, and twist that wire right onto it. There's nothing to that. What I like to do is I like to go back through the hole of the ornament just to make sure it's nice and tight. So this is just a simple way to make sure all your cord on all the ornaments look the same, they're uniform. And you can use a smaller cord, but some of these ornament balls have really, really tight holes. So we'll just go ahead and secure that down. If you have extra, you can go ahead and clip it. But this way, that ornament's just going to hang, just like I said. For this one, no problem. It's so easy, you just slide right through. Again, on the third one, you slide your cord through, and now we have our ornament cluster, each one a little bit longer than the other. And we'll put that on the banister. Okay, so all I'm doing is taking that wire and securing it to the banister. These are shatterproof ornaments, so they're not real heavy. If you're using anything heavier, you might want to get a little bit heavier of a wire. We wouldn't want that falling or someone hurting themselves. But these are shatterproof. They're light. It's a light wire, and all we do is secure that right onto that garland. Next, I'm going to run a little bit of gold mesh. Simply pinch the mesh, attach it to the garland, and twist it around. That's all there is to it. And you just take a look at it and decide if you want to run it all the way up or if you just want to put a few pieces and clip them in a few pieces. Okay, so I'm finishing attaching the mesh, and now it's time to create our bows. Okay, we're going to start making our bows, and what we chose was this beautiful satin Florence that has this gold back, as well as this burlap with glitter. So you see that gold glitter in the burlap will bring out the gold in that Florence ribbon. So we're going to make a couple of little curlicue bows, or at least that's what we're going to call them for this banister, some curlicue bows. You start by cutting 2 strips of the ribbon we're going to use. Just go ahead and cut that. We're going to take the first one, and all we're going to do is roll the edge. Do that first little tight roll, and then roll the edge a few times, and then do the same thing on the other side. Just kind of roll it up. Make sure they both look about the same. So that's curled up, and we're going to pinch the center and wire that down. Okay, so take our wire and just twist that bow right there in the center. And once you've got that pinched, I'm going to take that end piece, just kind of pull it just a little bit so it gives it that little curled effect. Do the same thing on this side and do that. Now we're going to do the same thing with the contrast ribbon. Take the edge of this burlap, roll the edge, roll the other edge, take a look, make sure it's about the same, pinch in the center, and then we will wire that on top of our other curled piece of ribbon. Okay, so we do the same thing and we pull that out a little piece, and we find the edge of the other and pull that out as well. Okay, so now we've created this little curlicue, kind of curled up, and I'm going to show you how to put that onto the banister. Okay, so we've put one in, and we're going to go ahead and attach the other. And these curlicues are just great fillers for the banister. It really displays the beautiful ribbon, gives it a lot of dimension, and just fills in that garland that sometimes you don't know what to put. There you go. It really gives it a lot of character, it gives it a lot of color, and it really displays your beautiful ribbon. Okay, so we've made those curlicues, and we've decided to put a bow with the cord in the center, kind of following the theme of the jester. So what we're going to do is cut a piece of cord. We're going to tie a knot on the end in order for it to hold and not fray. So you just put a knot and another knot. Very simple. Oops. No worries. We can always just clip that in. Okay, then we're just going to take it and make a bow, just like tying a shoelace. Now we've created a bow, and we're going to put those in the middle of the curlicues. Now you can hot glue, or what we're going to do is just take a little wire, like I did with this one that I've already prepped. I've taken that wire and I'll just put that right in the center of the curlicue. Okay, so as you can see, we've put those in the center of the curlicues, and this matches our jester. So it kind of just all blends together. Again, we just take that little wired bow and we insert it right into the middle. You just wire it right on, and hot glue will work too. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we have made bows for the banister. I've put 2 on, and I'm going to do the last one. I'm going to show you the way I make them. I know everyone has different ways of making a bow, but this is what I do, and it works best. Just start by pinching. And as you can see, this is a very stiff ribbon. It can be a little bit harder to work with, but you're just going to do the same thing. Pinch, make your loops. Again, pinch it. And again, pinch it. And we'll do one more. since this one will be on the bottom, we'll go ahead and make one last loop. So that one will be nice and big and full. Okay, so we take a strong wire, we put it inside, and we twist it. Now, this is the hard part. Make sure you hang on to all that ribbon when you're twisting. Twist and turn, make it nice and tight. You may want to push down on it to make sure it's not coming apart, but we have it on there secured really tight. Okay, next we're going to use our beautiful burlapped glitter. Now keep in mind, we're going to do the same thing with the loops, but I'm going to want to put this one inside of it. So when you do it, you just sort of make sure that you can see that burlap. So the size, you want to make sure that it's a little bit longer. And then you go ahead and do exactly the same thing. Twisting and making your loops and creating your big beautiful bow. So I went ahead and got another wire. Did a separate one since this ribbon is pretty heavy. And go ahead and do them separately instead of joining them right away with the same wire. That way you know both bows are very secure before you put one inside of the other. Okay, so we put one bow inside the other, we fluffed it up, and now we'll hang it on the banister. Okay, so we are just taking our wire and twisting the bow onto the garland. Okay, so since this is a little bit heavier of a ribbon, you go ahead and use the wire and then twist it onto the garland as well as the handrail. That way the weight of the bow doesn't pull down the garland and the ornaments here. So what I did was I just took the wire and then tied it around the actual handrail itself. Fluff your bow, and there you go. Okay, so next I'm going to take my cord and I'm just going to loosely let it hang through the garland, maybe just kind of twisting a few pieces so that it doesn't come falling down. Just take a little branch, twist it around that cord gently so it gives it that nice easy flow of the cord around greenery. Just twist it, it's not going to go anywhere, work your way around, twist that onto the cord, just let it loosely dangle. The looser the better, it just gives it that natural feel, or to just give that illusion that the jester is hanging the cord. Okay, so I'm going to continue to just attach little pieces to make sure it's secure, and then what I did was I sort of wrapped it a little bit and put it through the jester's finger, sort of giving that illusion that he's the one attaching all this cord to the garland. So, as you see, we stick with the theme. We started with our jester. We noticed he had this beautiful cord, so we used some cord ribbon and just bring your banister to life. Okay, so typically when you go ahead and put your garland on, you want to go ahead and insert picks or whatnot, what you have prepared. But in this case, we came across these berry picks that had this little cascadey feel, and at the last minute. It wasn't something we intended to begin with, but we went ahead and added them because there's never too much for Christmas. As long as it stays within a color scheme and it flows with your decor, go ahead and add that in there. You may, at the last minute pick up a great buy and you want to add it to your banister or your tree. Feel free to do that. There's never too much for Christmas.